A beautiful woman strolls down a sun-drenched street. Designer bags dangle from her arms, the picture of modern affluence. Laughter spills from a nearby cafe, a melody of carefree joy, but beneath the surface, a darkness lurks. A discordant note, a record scratch, glitch. And suddenly we're staring at shackled hands, a stark reminder of a brutal past. Slavery ended in 1865, right? Wrong. What if I told you that the chains were never truly broken, merely replaced with invisible shackles? What if I told you that slavery didn't end? It just evolved. It changed names, shed its old skin, and hid behind complex supply chains and the cold indifference of dollar signs. And the most unsettling truth, we've all played a part in this modern-day tragedy. In the old world, the whip cracked, a cruel symphony of domination. In our modern world, the whip has been replaced by a far more subtle weapon: wages. The modern worker, often trapped in a cycle of paycheck-to-paycheck survival, becomes a prisoner of circumstance. Minimum wage, a term touted as a safety net, fails to provide a living wage, leaving millions teetering on the precipice of despair. Rent, a relentless beast, devours their hard-earned wages, leaving scraps for basic necessities. Healthcare, a luxury many cannot afford, becomes a gamble they can ill afford to lose. And so they toil, trapped not by iron shackles but by the invisible chains of economic necessity. Sound familiar? This is the reality for countless souls trapped in the underbelly of our globalized world. Prison labor, a system where human beings are reduced to a source of cheap labor, thrives in the shadows. Migrant workers, lured by the promise of a better life, find themselves exploited, their rights trampled upon. Undocumented laborers, invisible in the eyes of the law, become easy prey for those who seek to profit from their desperation. They build the very foundations of our economies, pouring concrete, stitching garments, harvesting crops. Yet they remain unseen, unheard, unvalued. Their humanity is sacrificed at the altar of profit, their dreams crushed beneath the weight of a system that sees them as expendable cogs in a vast, unforgiving machine. Is this the legacy we wish to leave behind? A world where human dignity is a commodity to be bought and sold? The answer, my friends, lies in confronting the uncomfortable truths that we've been conditioned to ignore. You hold that sleek smartphone in your hand, a marvel of modern technology. But have you ever stopped to wonder about the hands that mined the lithium for its battery? You lace up your brand-name sneakers, ready to conquer the day. But do you know the name of the child who stitched them together? Behind the glossy veneer of nearly every product we consume lies a hidden world of exploitation, a dark underbelly of the global supply chain. This is the inconvenient truth of our interconnected world. Our insatiable appetite for cheap goods fuels a system that thrives on the backs of the vulnerable. Modern slavery, a term many believe to be relegated to the history books, is a stark reality for over 40 million people worldwide. More than at any other point in human history. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just about a few bad apples exploiting loopholes in the system. This is about the system itself. A system that prioritizes profit over people. A system that has normalized exploitation on a global scale. We, the consumers, are unwittingly complicit in this system. Our insatiable demand for the latest gadgets, the cheapest clothes, the most convenient services, all of it comes at a hidden human cost. It's time to lift the veil of ignorance, to acknowledge the human faces behind the products we consume. The first step towards change is awareness. The next step, that's where our collective responsibility lies. The United States of America, a beacon of freedom, a land of opportunity. But even within the borders of this nation, built on the ideals of liberty and justice for all, a sinister truth festers. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution proudly proclaims the abolition of slavery, unless you're convicted of a crime. This loophole, this stain on the fabric of American justice, has given rise to a billion-dollar prison labor industry, a system that evokes the darkest chapters of our nation's past. Inmates, stripped of their freedom and basic rights, toil away in prison workshops, churning out clothing, electronics, even military gear, all for pennies on the dollar. Is this justice? Or is it simply a new form of plantation, where steel bars and razor wire have replaced cotton fields and slave masters? The faces of those trapped in this system are often forgotten, their voices silenced by the walls of their confinement. They are the forgotten casualties of a justice system that often seems more focused on punishment than rehabilitation. We cannot claim to be a nation that values freedom and justice, while this system continues to operate in the shadows. It's time to shine a light on this dark corner of American society, to demand accountability, and to fight for a system that truly upholds the ideals upon which this nation was founded. The promise of America must extend to all its citizens, not just those deemed worthy by a flawed and often unforgiving system. Chapter 4. The Fashion of Oppression. We adorn ourselves in the latest fashions, proudly displaying brand names that have become synonymous with style and aspiration. But behind the allure of the fashion industry lies a grim reality, a world where style often comes at the expense of human dignity. The clothes we wear, the ones that make us feel confident and put together, are often produced in factories where safety regulations are non-existent, hours are brutal, and wages are abysmal. In 2013, the world watched in horror as the Rana Plaza building in Bangladesh collapsed, claiming the lives of over 1,100 garment workers. These workers, mostly young women, were producing clothing for global fashion brands that many of us know and love. The tragedy exposed the true cost of fast fashion, a system built on a foundation of exploitation and indifference. Yet, despite the outcry, despite the promises of reform, little has changed. We, the consumers, hold immense power. Our choices, the brands we support, the questions we ask, all of it can make a difference. We must demand transparency from the fashion industry, hold brands accountable for their supply chains, and refuse to be complicit in a system that profits from human suffering. Style should never come at the cost of human life. It's time for the fashion industry to clean up its act, and it's time for us, the consumers, to demand better. Chapter 5. The Face of Modern Slavery. Slavery, in all its ugliness, has not been relegated to the annals of history. It lurks in the shadows of our modern world, its tendrils reaching into every corner of the globe. But unlike the slavery of old, this new iteration operates beneath a veil of secrecy, hidden in plain sight. Human trafficking, a modern-day slave trade, preys on the vulnerable, trapping millions in a web of forced labor and exploitation. It's a billion-dollar industry that thrives on desperation, fear, and the indifference of those who look the other way. The faces of modern slavery are all around us, if only we open our eyes to see them. The young girl cleaning your hotel room, her eyes downcast, her spirit broken. The boy mining rare earth minerals, his childhood stolen, his body ravaged by dangerous labor. The man building your city, his sweat and toil fueling the engine of progress, yet living a life devoid of dignity or hope. These are the unseen victims of our globalized world, their stories often untold, their cries for help lost in the cacophony of modern life. We may never meet them face to face, but their lives are inextricably linked to ours. It's time to acknowledge their suffering, to give voice to their stories, and to demand an end to the systems that perpetuate their exploitation. Silence is complicity. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. Chapter 6. Who benefits? Billionaires, titans of industry, captains of the free market. They don't amass their fortunes through 80-hour work weeks. No, their empires are built on the backs of others, on a system carefully constructed to maximize profit, even if it means sacrificing the well-being of millions. Slavery didn't end. It simply adapted to the realities of modern capitalism. It donned the mask of globalization, cloaked itself in the language of free trade, and became acceptable. We've been conditioned to believe that this is just the way the world works, that the pursuit of profit justifies all manner of exploitation. But this is a lie, a dangerous narrative peddled by those who benefit from the status quo. The truth is, slavery persists because it is profitable, because it allows a select few to accumulate obscene wealth while billions struggle to survive. It's a system rigged in favor of the powerful, a system that perpetuates inequality and injustice. But this system is not inevitable. It is not an unchangeable force of nature. It is a human construct, and as such, it can be dismantled and rebuilt. It will require a fundamental shift in our values, a rejection of the notion that greed is good, and a commitment to creating a world where human dignity trumps profit. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Thank you for watching the whole video. The issues we've explored today are complex and deeply rooted in our global systems, but change is possible. Knowledge is the first step towards action. By educating ourselves and others, we can start to dismantle the structures that allow modern slavery to thrive. We encourage you to share this video, to spark conversations, and to support organizations fighting against exploitation. Your voice matters, and together, we can push for a fairer, more just world. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to create content that raises awareness and inspires change. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you, and see you in the next video.